Today we are in Nakpayili, in Nanumba South District. And what you see here is one of our nutrient omission trial sites. And this is plot 1, where no fertilizer was applied. So as you can see, this is the planting date. So we have plot 1 here, 0N, 0P and 0K. And this trial was planted on 25th of June 2021. And today is 10th of September 2021. And as we proceed, we get into the second plot here, where we have applied P and K. So you see the crop growth is getting better, but as compared to the 0 plot, but still the crop is stunted. We expect at this point the crop should be much taller and also bearing large crops, but it's stunted. The growth is stunted, so we see a strong limitations of nitrogen. And the plot sizes, they are plots measuring 10 meters by 10 meters, and we have 6 plots. The leaves are already browning as the plant tries to move the little nitrogen that is available to the younger leaves, and the crop is not getting any better. So you can see this is the label for this plot. This is plot 2, where we have 0N, 60P and 60K. As we move on, now we get to the third plot in this experimental trial. And this is the NK plot, where we have applied nitrogen and potassium. We have nitrogen applied at 120 kilograms per hectare and potassium at 60 kilograms per hectare, but no phosphorus. So here again we see some improvement when you compare to the plot number 2. The crop is much greener and slightly taller, but again you can see growth is limited by the lack of phosphorus, so the crop is still not very good. So after nitrogen, it appears that P is also strongly limiting in this environment, and this is the label associated with this plot. You can see we have 120N, 0P, 60N, and again planted in the same date. This was the 25th of June. And plot number 4, this is where we have the NP treatment. So we applied 120N, 60P, but no potassium was applied. So here we are trying to evaluate the limitations with K. So again we see an improvement when you compare plot number 3 to plot number 4. So we can see K is not as strongly limiting as phosphorus or nitrogen as we had seen in plots number 2 and 3. But still, as we will see when we get to plot number 5, when you compare, you can see that also there is some moderate potassium deficiency, as can be seen by some of these lower leaves. When you see this browning along the outer edges, it shows that the crop is not getting sufficient potassium. Not very good growth. In the middle there, much better. Some of the classic potassium deficiency signs. And here we have the label of this plot. So you see we applied 120 nitrogen, 60P, and did not apply any potassium, so that we can see the potassium limitations. Again planted on the same date of 25th June 2021. And now we move on to the plot number 5, where we have applied all the macronutrients. So this is plot number 5, and if you compare it with plot number 4, crop yield has significantly improved. We are seeing the taller crops. Also the cobs are larger, and the crop is still maturing, so we expect even larger cobs over time as it grows. So the leaves are all green with no major nutrient deficiency signs. You can see, showing that the N, P and K applied was fairly sufficient for this crop. And this gives an illustration of the sort of yields you can get in this area when you get the balance of your micronutrients right. And this is the label associated with this plot. You can see we applied 120 nitrogen, 60 kilograms of P and 60 kilograms of potassium, and again planted the same date as all the other plots that we have seen. But you see quite some strong difference between what we saw in the very first plot where no nutrients were applied, and also what we saw in plots number 2, 3, 4, and now here at plot number 5. So this is the entire extent of plot number 5. You see crop formation is good, and we expect quite some good yields from this plot. So this is the entire plot number 5, and now we come to the last plot, where we have all the macronutrients applied, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, but also some of the secondary macronutrients like magnesium and sulfur, and some micronutrients like boron and zinc. And you can see again now the addition of these extra secondary macronutrients and micronutrients. Crop yield also improves compared to plot number 5. So this is the best performing plots, and you can see in terms of the growth and the height of the crop, the cobs, getting some good crops, some very uniform growth across the plot. The crop is very green. This is the label associated with this plot. So you can see the amount of nitrogen applied: 120 kilograms of N, 60 kilograms of P, you have 60 kilograms of K, and also you have some sulfur and some magnesium applied. We have 1 kilogram of zinc and half a kilogram of boron. And again, planted on the same date, but you can see very significant and clear differences. You can see in all plots, all the crops are planted in rows with a clear spacing as per the recommended spacing in northern Ghana of 80 centimeters between the rows, and within the rows we have a spacing of 40 centimeters. And the typical practice here is to plant two seeds per planting hill. And in all the plots we started with the same plant density, but over time you find that in the other plots that don't have some nutrients applied, some plants have died off, and that's why you see in some of the other plots the plant density is much lower compared to what you see in particularly in plot number 5 with the NPK, and in plot number 6 where you have NPK plus the other secondary micronutrients. So that is it for today. We have had a look at one of our nutrient omission trial sites in the 4 nutrient stewardship project, where we are working in Nanumba and South districts of northern Ghana. Thank you.